All right, we have a new mic, so hopefully it's working. So, or I guess a new headset. Um, it seems like the headset itself is not as loud, or dang on it, the mic is not picking me up as loudly in Streamlabs, but I don't know. So we'll just kind of have to see. Let's make sure I got the game in the right state here. Okay. Now we can cut over. There we go. Oh. Let's continue our game from last time. I want, hang on. There we go. Had to move one of the screens in Streamlabs there so I could see myself versus or see my audio versus the game audio. Right. Hey, it looks like it's snowing. Oh, that's a fun little view. Crap, you can see better. Planet over there. Snow. Looks like we were getting some sort of reflection from the panels. It's nice. We have an unknown signal we can go pick up real quick. So let's go do that. Let's fill up our hydrogen. Probably want to we can put a button panel on there so we can do like an airlock situation, even though we don't really need one. Oh, yeah, give me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab this, and then we'll kind of do a little walkthrough. And hopefully my voice is reasonable compared to the game sounds. Actually, I turned the game down a little bit because it seems like my voice is not as loud in this new mic. So hopefully it's okay. We'll be able to tell here because tools are usually the loudest thing in this game, unless you get some real loud battle music or something going on. Target it. Target. Okay, cool. I didn't actually do a recording to check it. I just was going by volume levels and whatnot. So compared to what I already had, I'll get that thing. There you go. We'll also see how much of a charge this thing came with out of the box. I mean, it's supposed to have like a 70 hour battery, so even if it's minimally charged, it should hold out for a while. I think it's going to be a little more comfortable than my other one as well. The ear cups are a little deeper, so it doesn't feel like it's mashing my ears as much. All right, so on the outside, we moved the O2 H2 generators to make some space, and I'm going to use one right now to this bottle, off that bottle. We put a big industrial refinery in, so this one will run a lot faster than the old one. And I like it just because it's got the stairs. It's got a little more character to it. Feels more industrial. I need to get some railings and stuff up here for OSHA compliance so that I don't fall off and hurt myself. That might be something we do here in just a minute. And then we put an industrial assembler just so we could, again, we moved the assembler from where it was over to here. We put speed modules, these guys, on all these items, so now they go real fast, which we needed because we had a whole bunch of material. There's not one right here because I wanted to walk away and I didn't feel like moving my chair. So we repiped this conveyor underneath everything, so we're still connected up. We moved our med bay. So on the inside, come in here, got our sliding door, a couple batteries, got our med bay so we can heal, recharge, and it does way faster than this survival kit did. Here you actually can change your play dress up. You can change your outfit, your colors, all that kind of stuff. And change kind of the skins on your tools. Which I might change my character color because I'm not actually want more of a green color. Let's go like that. Maybe try to bring that down a little bit so it's not as neon. There we go. Now I see me. That's better. So I've got that. Just some decoration, little work things. Threw a couple consoles in here so they can kind of keep an eye on the drills, and we can actually configure some of these screens to do stuff and sit in here and control things from the seats. Got a little air vent, entirely unnecessary. This is an oxygenated environment, so we absolutely don't need this, but it feels right. We're pulling fresh air from the outside into here, our area. We have a bathroom, a toilet, a shower. Super important we have these. Sitting on the toilet charges your power if you need power. Critical aspect of the game. Little kitchenette area. These all have storage in them for little items in there. Armory, so we can put, again, just more storage for stuff. Most of this, if not all of it, is just decoration. So bed, sleep in our bed. And again, that will charge your power if you need to. And we got our couch and our TV, so we can relax and watch some Space Engineers. And then we have access to storage in here as well. So that was kind of the build. And then from the outside, excuse me, put a like a kind of a staggered roof in. I may change some of this just so these panels are a little different, so I have a more slanted roof. I can think we might do that right now. I did make it, or it ended up being an airtight space, which was unnecessary, but neat. That's at least a little bit better to do. Real full. Yeah. So now I got like a full little slope to it. Just kind of gives some, breaks up the design a little bit. So one thing we can do. Yeah, I felt like I got quite a bit going once I kind of got started. I need to correct this. So right now this monitors the batteries and says if they get below 85%, we kick on our um, hydrogen engine for power. So we're not just reliant on the wind. But what happens is it just kicks it on and off when it bounces around with that 85%. So I need to do something different with that. And I need to do something. I like having a timer block that will automatically close my doors for me. Although I could do something stupid and try to put like a sensor in place. Do I have a spot for a sensor here? I don't, because I bet that's in the way. Never mind. Sensor. Okay. So let's put our stuff away. Picked up. Go grab this. No signal. Which I don't really need to do, because I'm not really hurting for parts anymore, but it's basically a free loot crate, and it's hard to turn those down. Try to get it in the air. Missed. Ah, completely unnecessary. Which I notice is a big part of me playing this game. A lot of what I do is completely unnecessary. Mostly because this is just the nature of this game. It is a kind of sandbox explorer builder. There's very little that is necessary. But I might build out a little landing zone kind of out here maybe, and then start working on some ships today. After I build a couple timer blocks and another. Let's just put them right here for now. So let's build a timer block. No different between these two timer blocks other than the appearance. This one just looks cooler. So we'll go with it. And then let's put another programmable blocks beside each other. Or paint controllers, sorry. And let's build a. Okay. All right, so first we're going to do this timer block. And shoot. Before we do this, we need to label things. We want, it's tedious and a little silly, but the more labeling and organization we do, the better off we are in the end. Because as we connect more and more ships up or more and more subgrids up, it can start to get real confusing about what. So we're gonna start cleaning this up. Know that we know all that stuff. Well, we don't. These all need to be base. The other reason it's important for things to have somewhat unique names is if you, let's say we just had all these called drill. These are the ones that are on the big drill platform that we built. We had a ship that also had drill or things named drill on them. When we docked the ship, the two kind of groups would essentially function as one. And that would not, it's not always great. That can cause some weirdness where you think you're turning certain things on or off, and you're really switching other things on and off. So it's just best to keep everything mostly uniquely named. I didn't finish welding something. Okay. Also, color coding really does help too, though. So, like, everything that's white is on the main grid that you are working on. Things that are different colored are on different grids, or on subgrids, but that can still sometimes get difficult. Or like this situation. So we have speed modules. We know we have 2 of them on an assembler, and we have 4 of them on a refinery, but from right here, we don't know which ones are on what. So we need to name those better. And let's see if we have anything that's invisible to us. Like these should be LP. That's what we named them. Should just be up a thruster. those. Anything else? Those are on the ship. Should be LP as well. Although that ship, I think I've said this from the very, very beginning, that ship is going away soon. We're like 8 hours in, hasn't gone anywhere yet. So we got the base drills. That's this, I'm sure, the ship. So now we can do stuff like hiding things. Realistically, we don't need to see these vents. They're not really doing anything, so let's just hide them. We don't really need to see this. It's some very small inventory. It's never going to do anything, so we even hide it out of inventory. We don't care. Base batteries, those can be fine. We may actually use those. The bed, same way. It has some amount of inventory, but we don't actually care. We don't need to see either of these because they're not actually going to do anything. The lights, we actually can group all of these together. So, let's try that again. Corner lights, the insert light, and let's take the light panel. All these, the base interior lights. And then we can hide them as well. We might want to do some stuff where we turn them on and off, like as we enter or leave, but not too worried about it. They don't really use any power. They're just, if we can make them turn on and off, it's just neat. So let's do, we don't need to see this guy. See the couch. Just be a normal couch. Lab equipment. You don't see it. I'm really just doing this to try to also clean out the list here because there gets to be a lot of stuff. There's already quite a bit of stuff. Toilet. Really don't need to see the panel. That's mostly just for funsies. Okay, so we have the turbines in a group, right? Don't. Let's group these guys up. So we can shut them off or interact with them all at once if we need to. Let's decide which speed modules are which. So this is base border speed module. This is another and I don't really care if they're named the same thing. Oh. Okay. Now we know all of the others. Are refinery. Refinery speed module. Okay. And we can group these things. We don't actually need to see them, but I want to leave them on. And part of the reason we group them, we may have to turn them on or off. They take up a lot of power, and like right now, we are not generating much wind power. So it would be possible if we had to kick these on the refinery for some reason, we may not have enough power to actually run it. Oh. Oh, I must have drilled through that when I was. Okay. I was confused as to how that happened. Yeah. Lighting's not bad in here without a flashlight. It's cool. You know, and I did that as a. Let's actually change this. Do another event block. Change my mind on how I want to do this. So, over here, we're going to group these doors to call them base doors. Now, I could say when door open, I can add both of these. So now if we open these doors, it's going to trigger the event. And the event that we want to trigger is base doors close. So right now, if we just went and opened a door, it's going to try to immediately close it, which is not exactly what we want. So we want to put, we actually, well, now we need a timer block. Base door. So what it's going to do is it's going to tell the doors, base doors, to close. But it has a delay of, say, 3 seconds. So now what we do is we come over here, and instead of telling it to close the doors, we tell it to start the timer block. So now we open the door, wait 3 seconds, and it closes itself. So now we never have to worry about opening or closing doors again. Same thing happens with the bathroom. Come in the bathroom, we can sit down, the door closes. We leave the bathroom, we're all good. The time it could be weird is right there. We timed it just right. The doors did that, but yep. So now we don't have to worry about closures. This becomes maybe more important if we're not in an auction environment and we need to like make sure airlocks are always closed, but So now what we're going to do is fix this. So when the power is less than 85%, we want to turn on. I could do. No, I just want one of them. It doesn't really matter. They will lose power at an equal rate. So it's just monitoring one of them. So what we want to do is, if the stored power is less than 85%, turn on the hydrogen engine. Power block on. And we're not going to do anything with the false state. So then we're going to come up to this one. And we're going to say battery power, stored power. Stored power is greater than, equal or greater than, let's say 95%. And then we're going to turn off the hydrogen engine. So now it won't bounce back and forth. I need to tell it which battery to monitor. Yeah, so now it won't bounce back and forth. It'll only run for that 10% of the time. Then it'll kick off. And because again, we didn't give it a false statement, it won't do anything other than that. Rename this. Controller engine on. Let's go engine off. Controller doors. The other option is to have a timer block that just triggers itself every 5-10 seconds and shuts the doors. So you can do this in one block instead of two, but this is technically better. Technically better is the best kind of better. All right. So let's grab some steel plate. Drop this stuff off. Some steel plate. Oh, so I had some tubes I don't need to carry. Okay. So we're just gonna build this out just a little bit. Just enough space that we're probably going to do two little landing spots, which means I'm going to take some of this out because I want them to be connected, connectors. These are probably also going to get moved. So let's take, where's the, I know this has a connector on the bottom, but I don't know which. Well, maybe it doesn't have a connector on the bottom. Just the top? Ah, okay. Not on the bottom. In that case, let's run it from. We'll just run straight from there, I guess. This would probably be less. Oops. Whatever. This is easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a conveyor line out here to our landing pad. So that once we build these ships, we have something to somewhere to dock them. And I might, while I'm doing that, I could go ahead and bring that down one. This is like the ultimate, well, before I do this, I should do that. Before I do that, it'd really be good if I did this. Before all of that happens, if I did this one thing, that would be way better. Make sure I don't do something silly and disconnect everything. That would be bad. Let's leave that for just a second. This could be a problem. No spamming. Down here, bot. Bang. So, the problem here is the only connection points that a piston have are on the bottom. Oh, never mind. I can do this. This is... this work? No, because that won't be lined up because of the pistons. So what I was going to do is remove this, drop this conveyor down one, and run it there. So we have all this open space, which would be really good. But the only way to do that will most likely cause everything to explode. Which could be fun. So let's think how we would do this. We lock that to the ground. Okay. This will most likely cause an explosion. If we do this right. Basically, I'm going to engineer myself out of a problem that I created. That's a big, part of the fun of this game is coming up with silly solutions for non-existent problems. Like, what I want to do here does not need to be done. Things would be just fine the way they are. But they'd be just a little bit better if I do this. And we have game saves for a reason. Okay. So let's push this out. once that mag plate locks onto the other piston, I'm going to turn this piston off. So we're locked. So now, theoretically, if I grind this block away, this whole piston stack should stay where it is. We're going to take a game save just in case this completely explodes. Oh. Okay, we're good. So now, let's grind all these out.
Inventory full. Inventory full.
Let's put a conveyor junction there because we're gonna branch off of it. These can just be straight pipes. 1, 2, 3. This is a C pipe. 4. Okay.
Energy low.
It's built. Let's go grab some energy. Okay. Now we're going to use a modded in item, a weld pad. So, maybe we could. We don't have to. Yes, we do. So we have to use the weld pad because of the way this works. Because I can't hang anything off this piston except for the very bottom. Normally we'd use what they call a merge block. That would merge two grids together, but it won't work because of the placement. Let's use a merge block. So for the merge block to work, I could put like one here, that'd be fine. And they would merge on that ring. But I'd have to have it also there. And it won't let me attach stuff to that side of the... Oh, wait, it will. Oh, we could do... Okay, never mind. So when is that an attachment spot? Maybe with the square piston. So these square pistons are new DLC, or were new in the latest DLC. The old pistons you couldn't attach to the side of like that. So we'll do it the way the game intended. We'll use the modded part. So what'll happen now is, as these two things get close enough, they will merge and lock this piston back down to here. Problem is, it's also locked to the ground through that. So it's very possible that when that tries to pull it in place, this will explode. So we're going to do another save. We're going to set this velocity fairly slow. dummy. There's no power on that anymore. Okay. Let's see if this will work. Doesn't need much, just needs a little. That won't work because this is not a static grid anymore. It's mobile. Wind turbines don't work on mobile grids. Okay. Solar panels do. I don't know if I have enough to build a solar panel though. Or I don't know if there's enough light to build a solar panel. Like, solar cells. That's all right. I'll build those here in just a second. I know the direction the sun comes up, which is over there. It's a little bit light right there, so I really just need a tiny bit of power. The correct thing to do is to build a battery on this, but you don't get any resources back from a battery. But if this doesn't work, we may have to. Let's see if this moves now. Nope. So it's not getting enough power still. Yep. We just looked at that and no.
Inventory full.
Yep, we got another option because we don't want to waste all of the power cells of building a big battery. We can build a small battery if we trick the system into letting us. So, normally you can't put small grid things on large grid structures. Actually, I don't need to build this up. But we can add a large grid rotor with a small grid attachment, which would then let us build small grid batteries on it. I have steel plate. Yeah. So now instead of needing 20 power cells, we only need 2 power cells. There we go. Now we resave the game. Nice and slow. And if it's going to explode, we'll get an autosave right before it happens, because that's how this game works. Okay, so the merge blocks are close. We didn't blow up. Awesome. So let's turn auto lock off. Unlock. Retract. Grind all that. Oh, now this doesn't have power. Okay. That's fine. It doesn't need to. We can just grind it out. So we successfully solved a problem that wasn't a problem that we created for ourselves with a little bit of engineering. Now, what I can also do, so we don't entirely waste this, we can tell it to discharge. So now all of the little bit of power that's in that will be used first and flow into these batteries. We'll lose like 20% of it. So it's not a good use of that, but it just stops us from completely wasting what we did. All right. Now we were over here. We're going to build another conveyor. System. Let's grab these guys. Like there. Let's build these up. All 8 of them. Little secrety tip: if you double click or you have your tool out, it locks it into the operating mode, so you don't have to hold the button the whole time. So now we're going to curve this and cut it in. What do I do off of that? Yeah, let's just do it off this. Let's take a C-shape block. There we go. And take 1, 2, then right about here. going to grab a connector, but we're going to grab one of these new connector blocks. And set it right here. So these are the original connector blocks, and basically you have a port on the bottom to your conveyors, a port on top for your ships. With these newer ones, again, they came in one of the DLCs. So you have a connector for your ships, but then you have two inputs, and they're at different angles. So now we can do something like this. Set that connector in place, and then throw a T-junction right here. And that is actually connected up.
Energy low.
The nice lady in the helmet lets us know that our energy is low. This up first. Then we're going to recharge by sitting in the seat so I can get a drink. Alright. I got to use the fancy microphone flip up feature to mute myself there. Alright, so let's. What do I have inventory? Stuff I need. So what I really want are all these steel plates. Let's weld this up. And then we're going to build a small-ish cargo ship that will be docked right here. It's going to be kind of our I'm going to say cargo ship, but it's also going to be what allows us to kind of fly over to the base that's over this way, there, over that way. But be able to do that in a reasonable manner and also haul stuff. So we're building at night, which is probably the worst possible option, but whatever. Let's grab a landing gear. And then let's grab some of those. And let's start with a. Let's start with the. I had an idea for the way I want to do a ship. I don't know if it's going to work. It might end up just gigantic and silly. So we'll see. So what we're going to do is start by dropping a landing gear because it will lock to the ground and give us a stable place to build from. Then we're going to put these blocks on top of it. This is like a sprue to kind of build off of. None of this will actually be a part of the ship when it's done. It's just kind of there to give us a placeholder for stuff. We might even off that a little bit, just in case. Since this is locked, we don't have to worry about it tipping or do anything weird. If that wasn't locked, this would fall over. So I think what we're going to try to do is use these large flat MOs, flat atmospherics. I don't know if I think I want squares. And what I really would like is to get like 4 of these. So, and then I think in the middle, we're going to take one of these square connectors that we had previously. Do what I want. I think so. I think we can make this work. I think we're going to build off of this base, essentially. That should be quite a bit of thrust. And then we're going to need a cargo. I'd really like to have a large cargo. It's medium. Oh, I could use one of these though. This would actually be better. So again, this was something that was in the latest DLC pack. It's kind of between the medium and the large cargo container. It holds a fair bit. I think I like it better right here. What we're gonna do. What I'm thinking. Let's build some of this stuff up here. We can also access our storage from there. We also got to watch our hydrogen while I'm doing this because I'm going to use quite a bit flying around this thing. A couple hundred motors. We're going to need them. No, let's look. What else do we have or not have? Let's make a bunch of construction components. Let's make some large steel tubes. Let's make some interior plate. See where that gets us. Like a stack of those, stacks of those. We have essentially all the iron we're going to need for quite a while, so I'm not worried about burning it by building a bunch of stuff. Okay. We got all that. Now for our cockpit, I considered doing a couple different things. Those are all. Okay, so I can put a control seat. Problem with the control seats is they're odd symmetried, some of them. Now, this one wouldn't be. That feels weird for what I'm going for. So is that. This wouldn't be bad. Essentially, if I do this, I build my own cockpit. Or I go with something like this. I come into that one. No, that was Discord came in. What was that noise? Ah, I fell off. So I think. I mean, I could also. So what I wanted to build, I was going to build something where you actually had to step up into it and enter in. That may not be reasonable, but we could hook onto this. That may not be bad. Might have to use this one. To do that, we need a conveyor converter. So we're gonna go from big fat connection to 3 small connections. Oh, I also just realized we're not centered. So let's try that again. That's better. Now, but that's still not lined up. Gotta be lined up that direction.
Energy low.
That's not wanting to line up very well. There. Better. Now we're even there and even there. Okay, that's what we want. Gotta go get some energy. Suit lady is warning us. Let's go ahead and fill up our hydrogen while we're running around. And let's build this back up. Converter. Okay. It's not bad. All right. Let's be distracted for a minute and go get this. Who knows? It may have something absolutely amazing in it. Oh, you piece of crap. Yep, now it's gonna land funny. run in. Really hoping to get the thruster. The thruster would actually be a decent find because that. I guess we already have thrusters, so probably better. There we go. Think of ions where they have thruster components. Yeah, most don't have it, so it wouldn't matter. Push the button. Wrong button. Push the button. Zebra rifle. It shoots zebras, I assume. Medkits, fun. We may not be able to carry all this back with us either. Just because there's the radio components in the antenna are going to be heavy. Well, they're big, they're not heavy. Let's find out. It's going to be close. Hey, got it all. Sweet. Let's use that to build stuff. All right. So we kind of got the basic shape here, basic idea. I really wish that was flush. There's really not a way to do that. Because these take up that whole block. They'll never sit in this half. So the only other way I could do that would be to that by half block, which I could do if I did this. Sure these are all connected so nothing falls. But now I'm going to take all this out. I got too much junk. This is why I'm bad at designing ships. Or really, I guess bases, because or anything, because I get like distracted, but I get wild ideas after I've already done stuff that probably won't work. So I need those to be like half a block lower. That, then can I do then I can hook that to there. So now that's completely flush on the bottom, which is what I actually want. Oh, that's probably gonna be bad because thrusters cause damage. So I may damage my landing platform with this, but it'll look nicer, so I don't know that I care. Alright, so now put the cargo container back on. Put that on parts on me, because I deposited everything. This will actually work too, because there's a bunch of small bits that I like to add, like control stuff, that we can kind of slip in underneath here now. If you're getting dizzy watching, Spyro do loops, I used to get flying around with this stuff. That'll get you spun around sometimes. Okay. So now we got this. So that's I need. Just think about the stuff that we need. Still need thrusters. We need gyros. I'm gonna need a couple event controllers. I was thinking about stuff that I can bury that I don't really need to have out. So let's drop a remote block right there. Okay. So a remote block will allow us to access the ship remotely. Put that in upside down.
Energy low.
And upside down there was purely cosmetic. Let's grab some energy quick. Back out. Oh, that. Okay. So let's go ahead and throw a couple gyros in. Yeah. There. 2 gyros will be a lot for this ship, but I'd rather have too many than too few. gyros help. Essentially, we can steer with the mouse rather than having to try to do stuff with the keyboard, because there's just certain angles you can't steer with, directions you can't steer with the keyboard. Okay. Now let's throw our Now these are actually blocks I do like to have on the outside because I think they look kind of neat. So we gotta figure out where they're gonna go. I might put one on either side. I may hold off on that just because I don't know where I want them yet. We're gonna need a couple batteries. I think what else? Lights will go last. We need an antenna. Right there, ore detector, because why not? Ore detector there. Off to the side just in case we reason to use that connector. We don't want to block it. Because we'll also go ahead and throw. Think about it. Connector on the back of this guy. That one. Kind of like that for the back. What was in my build planner? Oh, a bunch of them. Got a bunch of other stuff though. Okay. Got all that. I could. I don't need a. I don't really need oxygen or hydrogen tanks. Although I could throw a little hydrogen tank on here. Just in case. So if we do that, we put this, that makes sense. But it kind of. There maybe? Up one. So the reason I'm questioning where to put this, it needs to end up somewhere that I can reach the yellow access door once I'm done building, because I don't believe my tank will go through these small tubes by itself. I was thinking maybe bring it all the way up. Okay, so maybe we wait until we get our batteries in place. batteries are going to go right off here to the side. I know where they're going to go. Two. We're going to start building the power cells for those. Okay. Then let's maybe get the antenna. Waiting on that. Not really concerned about AI blocks on this or hydrogen, anything. Doesn't need that. There are a couple cameras on. We'll throw a couple guns on for good measure. Let's do the rest of the thrusters. So I'm thinking maybe these round thrusters right off the back here. Down one, they're in line with the, yeah, down one, so they're in line with the battery. That'll be better. That will probably be all we need for forward thrust. I think I somehow put a whole bunch of extra battery power. Let's put those back. I don't want to build the batteries up just yet. Because they don't need to be functioning yet. Okay. That's our forward thrust. We're going to need some reverse thrust and some lateral thrust. Now we can do matching. Fine. I sometimes don't like having my thrusters right beside my cockpit like this, just because it feels unsafe. But we should build it in such a way that it won't be a big deal. He should never be running while we're outside of the ship anyway. Okay. Then we got all kinds of space in here, which is good. So we need some lateral thrusts. I don't know if we don't have enough space for the big fans. Now, if we move the batteries, we would, but I kind of like the batteries sitting where they are. Now, we don't need tons of lateral thrust, so what we can do is work in these small thrusters. just a matter of how far out do we want to go with them. We do something like this. Right now. Maybe there. Stack them that way. I was debating on maybe changing the shape of this, but we'll see here. Nope, let's go the other way. That should be plenty of thrust, honestly. It's a lot. Mm. Alright. I'll probably be doing this for a little while, so appreciate you hanging out while you did. Ooh, I need to get hydrogen. Oh, let's see if we can get these water before I die. I will die, but fall out of the sky.
Energy low.
Whoop. And we're going to do another sit in the chair for energy so I can grab a drink. No, I am confused. Oh, this battery still has power in it. Because it should be. So it doesn't still have some chair. It's supposed to be in discharge. And so those should have drained it already. Doesn't matter. Not hurting anything sitting there. You know what? Let's go get this. Daggone it, this is another flyaway one. Oh wait, no it isn't. Come on, button. Something good. Nothing. Okay. Back to base. We're just about ready to get the ship formed up better, I think. So we got all the thrusters built. I was thinking about, I was going to change how this is laid out, but looks like it's going to stay. So let's just weld these up while we're thinking about it. Okay. So let's throw. Where do we want our program or our main controllers to be? Can't go in front of the thrusters. That would be bad. Could throw them up there. Do that. I probably want to go this way. Or I could throw them directly under the cockpit. No, they might be better back here, actually. Like that better, I think. So they're accessible, theoretically. These are going to be our takeoff and landing blocks, so that we can kind of turn everything off and everything on with one button rather than go through a whole bunch of buttons. Or A. Some hydrogen tank there. Good. Granted, it won't really be that accessible if that's connected, but that's okay, because the primary connection is going to be on the bottom anyway, and this will be accessible. Okay. So I need antenna. Still. Once. I could put a round one on, or a parabolic one on, if I mounted a block somewhere. May not look bad. I don't know if I like that because I kind of like that top being a little cleaner. Take that off. Let's put it somewhere else. Let's put it. I think it might go better underneath here. Just trying to think if there's anything else that I need to kind of stack. I don't think so. So what if we did? Oops. That. I could just be, you know what? I could just put it right on the front. That actually might. Still a little goofy, but we'll try to tie that in with some cosmetic blocks here. Look at that. Anything else? What am I forgetting that I need? Lights? Need lights? Don't need any of the AI blocks. Could put parachute hatch, but I generally don't use those. I don't think I need decoys. Cameras. Cameras are nice. Lights. Put a vent for good measure. And I was going to put a couple guns. See if we can find a place to work those in. So I may have to work them in underneath here. Can. I did some Gatlings. Shorter ones? No, the longer Gatlings. Gatlings. There. There. There to get ammo to them. I can't bear on there. See if that'll let me target the spot. Alright. Oh, oh. Find the parts. All the way right there. Okay. Let's build these up. That targeted. Oh, it's in the wrong spot. Daggone it. So let's do that. And I should have probably welded that armor block up, but oh well. It will. This is not intended to actually do any real fighting. This is simply just in case something happens and I need them. I'll build my camera up off of that, so that'll give me a way to see and aim. In fact, let's do. We'll put that up. Camera on. Now, unfortunately, we can't put anything in front of that. Actually, maybe we can, because it might connect to that. Let's see if we can. So let's do. Actually, before we do that, let's come back here and throw backup camera on. For good measure. Actually, we might build that up. Yeah, we'll put that for right now. I kind of like the back the way it is, but I want to fill this out a little more with some block and maybe the top. But let's see. Good window. Stuff for it. Hopefully that is attached to the cockpit and not that block. We'll build around that a little bit as well. That just kind of helps protect the camera if we do get a shot at. You know what? I think. Reach that. I think we build up these batteries so that we can disconnect all of this and work it closer to the ground. Now, I think we're good with. Maybe not just yet. We do want to kind of. No, let's put a vent on somewhere. Have access to a port. If I don't, we will not be putting a vent on. Right there. Get inside. Technically, it can go right there. We can still reach that.
Energy low.
Alright, that's nice lady energy low. Let's go get energy. Alright. Let's see if we can't make this look a little nicer, but let's go get the batteries done just so we don't have to try to do all or work around. So let's Put some ankles on this. Also be really cool if we could work a way to get either landing gear or these mag plates. Definitely the small ones. It's here without too much trouble. Landing gear just has to be flush with everything else, so that might be a problem. We didn't leave space for that. It needs 3 blocks. Space anywhere. Could put a couple of these down. I don't think they'll interfere with the connector being close enough. The other option is to remove these thrusters and set the landing gear sideways there. I think I want to do that though. So let's just do like back plates. So if we need to land somewhere that doesn't have a connector, we can lock the ground. I think those hitboxes will still allow us to land on our landing pad over here without too much trouble. So I'm going to shape this a little bit. So if I do something like out there. Use this block. So that would go to the inside of that. Looks a little weird. We'll just reinforce this a little bit. I definitely struggle with aesthetics. I'm very much a function over form kind of guy. Need to protect this. So this has to be different. I actually need that to be one more out. So let's use this block. That. That will. A little chunky, but I do that, I'd really rather have this matching. I think. So that's that block. This block. And this block. Alright. That. Looks so dumb. Maybe if I do something up here, it won't be as bad. It's an angle. Where's the right piece here? Two. Pieces. That.
Fuel low.
That still looks real dumb. Oh,
Fuel
how about it?
critical.
About fell out of the sky. So that looks bad, so we can't do something different here. This is another reason why a lot of times I design my ships in creative mode and then take a blueprint of them and then build them off that on the creative mode side, because it gets hard sometimes to get exactly what I want. Alright, so let's think about this. How do I... I could set these back one. They don't need to be up this far. If those blocks are there just to kind of tie this area in. Don't need all of them. So what if we, let's try that. What would that look like? This. That and that. Then I could do something like there's one. better? I don't know. I don't know if I like that either. I think this being inset is better. At least from the front. What if I did this the other way? What if I build it this? That way. I think I kind of like that a little better, but that kind of messes with that block. But I could just move these up higher. That's the trick. Maybe they shouldn't be staggered. Maybe they just go right here. Then I don't have to worry about the bottom as much. Granted, that still looks weird. Take those out one? Maybe that's the trick. Maybe I set these, make the whole ship a little wider. What that look like?
Energy low.
And then I could slope those blocks. That, and this changes to that. I think it just looks too weird and flat. Change though. Put the guns up there. I mean, the whole thing's going to be flat. It's got a flat bottom. That's the whole point. So I change that to that. That may not be bad. And I could throw my guns there to there. And have spotlights. Well, I kind of like that position. Maybe I put the spotlights up here. I can inset the spotlights. And essentially do a similar thing with these. Move them back, move them out. Goes up. I have some odd shoulders on it, but I think that might be better. Okay, let's do that. So, decide that. Awesome.
Inventory full. The other thing that might help this too, once I get done, is I can paint some of these blocks so it's not just a base gray on everything. I'm disliking this less. Let's move all these. The small ones. Here. Or that's where I put them, right? Yep. I may have opened myself up to being able to use the actual landing gears flush with the bottom of the ship. That's what it is. These. I'm gonna do all this, take it for a test flight, and realize that I don't have enough thrust or battery or something, and I'll have to go in and like change a whole bunch of stuff with it. Then I'll be real mad. So let's take this off. Kind of want to match, so It's right there. Yep. It's going to be. It's block. That. Right. I'll get these welded up.
Energy low.
See if we can get this thruster on before we run out of energy. Right, let's sit in our cockpit so we can kind of look at our ship. Okay. And it's not terrible. It's nowhere near what I originally envisioned. It's not bad. I need to do something on these sides though. Kind of close that a little bit. So see if I can keep that angle across the top. Maybe across the bottom. At least across the top. The bottom may not be able to. And I don't know that I can because keep that. Okay. So why don't we do? Let's keep some of this across the bottom. Rain. There. How this will look. That kind of being sticking out there. Let's go with it for now. Okay. Move this side. And I'm going to take all that back out because I just remembered I was going to throw some landing gear in. If I can.
Thanks, man. I'm not a great ship designer for sure, but yeah, that'll line up. But yeah, I try. Put some landing gear in. There's times that we can't connect. Let's put these back. So try to keep some amount of angle in this. Definitely looks a little weird, but we're gonna try it. But this. See there is definitely the like uh, everything in me wants to do symmetry, but it just doesn't. It always looks it looks wrong. Needs the asymmetry. It really does. There's something about the asymmetry that tends to make ships look neat. I'm really looking forward to SE2, uh, like the wild stuff that you're gonna be able to build with that. Um, I went ahead and bought SE2, which is not probably recommended. It's definitely not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination. Um, and was just playing around with building on it, and it's it's really neat being able to use the varying grid sizes, all those little detail work you can do. It's like then you come back to this and like, oh, I wish I could do that. But I also can only run SE2 for about 10 minutes, and then it blue screens my computer. I think it's a driver issue. Not sure. Kind of looked into it, but not a bunch. I kind of. Wait, why is that not lining up the same? What have I done? Yeah, like like I said, it definitely was not probably the worth the buy yet, honestly. Uh, I was just really curious and kind of hoping. Okay, so something's off here because that's the same placement. And that's lining up with that flush. That is not. Are these all forward one? How did I do that? What?
Oh, these are all facing the wrong way. That's why. That would have been great. Why landing gear?
Inventory full. Fuel low. Fuel critical.
Space not going too bad. Going nice and slow. Like I said, building the ship up. Um, we built kind of the base-ish area yesterday or the other day. So get this going. We kind of fly around a bit more. Maybe be a little bit more exciting. Things will be going on. I still need to build a better drill ship, mining ship, but I'll probably be a little less creative with those because they are very much a function first kind of ship. But we're almost to the funnest part of shipbuilding, which is renaming everything and building groups and setting up the programming. These are also backwards. We would have blew ourselves up trying to fly around. That's better. Okay. So let's. Glad you made it, man. Daybreak, what are you going to be playing later tonight? You know yet? Yeah. That looks a little better. Looks less empty. So let's throw some lights in now. Let's do spotlight, interior lights. Don't think we'll do rotating lights. Use searchlight. We'll put it there just in case. Spyro, nice. Tell them to just drag their computer to their bed. They can play from there. There's no reason not to. Let's set these spotlights. What's funny, I'd like to blame my older computer setup for the lag when these spawn in, but I see videos with guys with new systems, powerful systems, and it still lags when those sorts of objects spawn into the game. So I don't feel too bad. I do have a new video card coming next week, which I've been wanting to do it for quite a while. anyway. Finally decided it was time. So that would be nice. I almost messed up though and ordered it. I ordered it earlier this week, right before Nvidia dropped their new cards and right before AMD dropped their new cards. Fortunately, the video card market is still so screwed up that it didn't actually affect the pricing at all. So no big deal. What else do I need? There's we need some downward facing lights on something. Downward spotlights. Floodlights. Probably downward spotlights. No, I could put one right there. Just really throwing off the aerodynamics now, but and we gotta grab some interior lighting. Let's put it. Oops, let's suppose. So we gotta put our flight lights in. And yeah, let's put them on the. Probably should be on the furthest part out. Okay. And put going out the back as well. Yep. Okay. Now here's the real test. Nope. All right. We can fly under our own power. Nice. Take off. We gotta kind of fly in as many directions as possible. Make sure our power's good. It is. We got enough power to run all of our thrust. We're completely vertical. Sure. Yep. Solid. Yeah, basically this is just going to be a kind of a cheap, quick hauler to run the bay from the base, and then there's a right over here. So we have a station. I'm basically going to use this to run supply missions and stuff over that base. Maybe do a little bit of scouting or something with it, but mostly just our flying around ship. Right now I have the respawn pod set up to do some mining. It's really not a good ship for it at all. I just kind of slapped it together, but it works, but not very well. So the next ship to build will be a dedicated mining ship. Let's see if we can land this bad boy. Without destroying our landing pad. Oh, probably help if I had my... Right now, let's throw that connector on just so we can see. There we go. We're locked, so we can start charging. Let's see if how much we hurt the deck here by landing on it. Looks like we didn't. Nice. So now it can recharge, and we can do all the fun setup work. The big question is what we're going to call this thing, 'cause it needs a name. Think about that for a minute while I rename some of this stuff. But figure out these lights. So I gotta remember. Left side is starboard. Starboard are green signaling lights. I think. Use red. Backlights. I don't think they have a standard. They have a standard color. So let's do them as hello, maybe. Could do orange. Let's do orange. Orangish yellow. I have to turn those down. They're way too bright because they are just signal lights. They don't need to be. They don't need to actually be making light. Just take all of them. Drop the radius down to just a little bit. And have quite a bit of fall off too. They should technically blink. Just put blink on my lights there, but we might for fun. Nice slow. 4-second blink. Oh shoot, they're supposed to all be selected for that. So it's like offsets like 4 seconds, something to. Why does it keep doing just the one? I want to do all of them. I'm not clicking wrong here. There we go. That up. Maybe it's the offset's not what I need. Just the blank offset. closer. What I want. So now we got some signal lights, so when we fly around, even though we're the only person in the sky, we're nice and safe, and everyone can see us and know where we're headed and what direction we're going. I do need to turn these batteries onto charge right now because I don't want them powering the base at all. And let's do a small hydrogen tank on there. Good, it's filled. That's what I wanted. Air vent completely unnecessary, but fun to have. Okay, so let's start. All of these, get them all together. So I can group them. We're going to have well, I need, I just realized I put event controllers. I don't want an event controller, I actually want timer blocks. Let's fix that before I forget that I did that. Yeah, these need to be timer blocks, not event controllers. We're going to do essentially one button takeoff and landings. So that. Rename all these, take the numbers off. Matter, but I find it weird to have them numbered. In a small ship like this, in a massive ship, it would make more sense. One of these, one of those. Let's set. All right. What do we want to call this thing? It's going to be a hauling ship. Let's go with. Something super generic like air hauler. The only reason I care so that I can name my groups with it. So everything on here would be an AH. Sort and find it better. This is all
riveting gameplay. And I don't know why I'm okay with the floodlights being numbered and not the thrusters. I do not know why, but that is... For some reason, that is okay with me. Almost there. Now let's AH Gatling guns. Batteries. I'm not gonna worry about the spotlights because those can get controlled with the basic L button. Let's do it here. Here. Let's gauge. Oops. I'm gonna come back and do the thrusters here for a second. I'm just doing all this stuff so that I can put them into these groups so that I can call the groups for the timer blocks rather than trying to like do it all at once or do them all individually. That'd be a nightmare. First thing, all of our thrusters. And we want to group just our backwards thrusters. Backwards. So when we're flying, normally we turn those off and then just coast. We don't have to worry about fighting that or constantly powering through it. So let's do anything else. And then what we can do, because we no longer need to see all of these, so let's hide those. Hide those. Let's hide the bank here. Okay, for them. I also want to take them off auto lock. Let's do. Let's put this here. Not rear. Here. Bottom. We're also going to move those. Just makes that a little easier. Let's hide these. Let's
Hide the floodlights. Hide the gyros. Let's hide those. There's nothing I have to. It's really just used for us to control it. I'm not doing any automation with it right now, so it's fine. Just has to be on. See these individually. Spotlights. I'm just trying to clean up this stuff so it's a little easier to see what's going on. Okay, work sector's probably okay. So let's look at timer block. This is going to be the AH block. Landed. So when we land, first thing we do, lock our landing gear, lock our connectors. Then we turn off all of our thrusters. And turn off our gyros. And turn off navigation lights. Turn off our guns because we're landed. War detector. We might leave our antenna on. That's on. What else? What else? The batteries will be the last thing we turn on. Hang on, let's do this. Okay, so disconnected. So now we only. No, that one. There we go. So we only see this stuff. Okay, so timer block. Landing. Okay, so what else do we have that we might want to turn off? Other than the antenna, I don't think anything. Okay, let's say batteries. Charge on. So now, take off. We want to first thing. Let's turn the batteries on. Auto. Auto. Then we gyros. Let's turn on our navigation lights. Let's turn on all of our thrusters. Let's go ahead and turn our guns on just in case. I'll leave the ore detector off because we don't really need to run it. We can do it manually. I'm actually fine. This hydrogen tank is just in case we need it for our own personal tank, so it can stay on stockpile. Don't need it to change. So let's go here. Unlock our connectors, unlock our landing gear. Should be everything, hopefully. Okay. So now I like to have take off on 1 now. Landing on 9. Sure now. I want to see what manual control of these. The landing gear. Manual control of the batteries. Discharge on off on those. I want all thrusters on off, backwards thrusters on off, and what else might I want on this initial control? Let's do the ore detector, I guess. Put it on off. Here, let's do. Need to rename these cameras. You. Let's throw our guns. Off. I don't want them manually shooting. They're automatically shooting. I don't want them manually shooting. Okay. We'll try that for right now. I'm sure we'll need to modify it. But, alright. So, currently we're sitting here. Let's land. Landed. Turn our lights off. Say, hey, we're ready to take off. Spotlights on. Take off. Good. And since we're flying, let's take a trip over to the base over here. Why not? Nope. Let's turn off just the front thrusters, so that way we can kind of get the speed and just coast. Get a little extra altitude. Make our way over here and see if there's any missions we can take on. not bad. Like I said, it's not at all what I envisioned it was going to be as I was building it, but I think it will do the job. Cockpit's clear. We don't have any obstructions. I could reset the. I could set the panels to be something. Yes, but they're not super useful. Yeah, it is kind of nice just cruising around. Speed back up. Yeah, you're not getting shot at. That's helpful too. Nighttime's a little scarier if you're approaching a base for any reason because uh, the automated turrets on their side are frustratingly accurate, where even your own turrets feel like they just don't do as well. But they can see you in the dark. You can't see them. So that gets fun. Right, so we're coming up to this base, so we'll prepare to turn our backwards thrusters back on so we can slow down. Come in for a landing. Now, one of the frustrating things is that these bases don't provide power. I don't think I've ever noticed a button panel up there. That's weird. So we can land. But where's our? There it is. So if we land, it's fine. But because our batteries aren't recharged, nothing has power. So we'll have to manually turn them back on. Come back out of here. Free stuff. Gunpowder. I'll take it. That would be all of my money. I don't think that's a smart purchase right now. Ship out there hanging out. I didn't want to lie in the bed. I wanted to search the bed. Steal somebody's money out from under their pillow. Tooth Fairy probably left that there for him. It's a good gun. I think that's the second King pistol I've picked up. Right, let's deposit the money we have. Oh, left some at the base I should have brought with me. I can also just build an ATM on the base. Right, first things first, check the store. This one sells ships, which is pretty neat. Haven't I don't have enough money to buy a ship, but it can be a real neat way to kind of quickly get off a planet or something if we need to, or run a bunch of missions now and get enough money to buy some of these to start up rather than build our own. Something super great there that I need. All right, so let's see what acquisition contracts we have. There's a lot here. What can we pull off? We can definitely do steel plate 400,000? Yeah. It's almost a ship. We don't have platinum, so we can't do thruster components. We have silica, so we can do canvas. I haven't mined any magnesium, so we won't do explosives. Girders are cheap. We got tons of iron. Raw iron ore, sure. It's not worth a lot. That's a lot of money. We might have to go mine some magnesium. I mean, I could even hand mine that. That's like, I think that's the most expensive ship they have, is that single one. Reactor components, I think they might take gold. And oxygen bottles are just iron. Take all that. You know what? We may as well do these because we're going to mine some magnesium anyway. So, yeah, so we'll just hold off on those. I've yet to actually see a bounty. All in, we need space vessel 4, so we can't do any of those. And the searches aren't bad, but really, like, once you can do any amount of production, these just kind of seem a little worthless to do. Okay. Ooh. So I'm just curious. I'm gonna get 6 million for the magnesium. So any of these small ships would then become completely doable. Could take this miner. So we might. I generally don't buy ships. Normally because I don't start out with a station that sells them. But it might be interesting to pick up a couple. Or maybe we decide to, in order to get off the planet, we buy some monster ship to get off the planet. Well, no, we'll see. We do have essentially some stuff to get now, though. Okay, so we got to manually turn our batteries on to take off. Okay. And back home. Forgot to do the thing I'm supposed to do, turn off those forward thrusters. A lot of times I have that as part of my takeoff procedure, is those get turned off, but for some reason decided not to. So yeah, we'll just do a little cruising. Since we don't have to worry as much about altitude, we can kind of angle down and keep full speed the whole time.
Steel plate we already have. Canvas, because I'm pretty sure we have enough. So we can to make that. Should have enough iron for that. But more we'll grab manually so we don't accidentally process it. That'll be easy. So we got to get magnesium. I'll wait to turn that GPS on until I get landed so I don't crash. I would be upset if I crash my brand new ship. Thrust on, so we'll slow up a little bit. See if we can plan this without going into third person. Nope, we can't. How far off are we? Oh, and. Alright, so let's look. So I know I have magnesium up here somewhere. 2 magnesiums. Where are we at? There's 1. And there's the other. So let's. Pretty sure I've already dug over there some. Let's take our very inefficient mining ship, which I have not put timer blocks on, so I have to manually do all this stuff. Charge off. Thrusters on. Ore detector on because we'll need it. And unlock. I should make sure. It's not a lot of stuff. We'll deal with it. Yeah, this thing only having 1 battery really kind of limits it. I could throw another battery on it, I guess, but. I think maybe while the magnesium is refining, because it's really slow, maybe we'll start building a ship. Although, probably after we mine this and kind of get everything started, it might be time to take a break. I've been going 3 hours. This is a game I have to be careful of because I have definitely sat and played this for. Oh, let's make sure I didn't destroy something. It's hit kind of hard. Okay. But I've definitely sat and played this for way longer than you should probably sit and play a game. So that's our spot, I think. So that's what I'm waiting for. Do that. Let's come in at a fairly shallow angle if we can. Again, this does not have the most thrust, so we really want to baby it. For my sanity, we're going to go third person because large grid drills that close to your face, it's just loud and kind of obnoxious to watch. Might be missing the magnesium. We may have to go. Yeah, we're getting further away from it. So let's back out. Drop down a little bit. Do a little more shallow. Run it again. Might run into it. I think we're gonna miss it again. Oh, there it is. Okay. That was the wrong button. Hit my Windows key. I can't see what I'm doing. See how much of an angle we're at. Let's drop down. And if I was going to use this, I'd put probably should still put an ejector system on stuff on. But it's already a whole bunch of magnesium. Basically as much as this thing can carry, so. Out. So we're gonna have to get some height because going forward eats up all our power and we lose altitude as we go forward. Okay, let's try this again. Up, forward, coast. I'm gonna have to go kind of slow because stopping is gonna be scary. Slow and steady wins this race. So yeah, I think we'll dock up here and then kind of clear out our inventories. I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Oh no, oh no. Really need a better ship than this. This is not good. Well, scary. Touching the ground. We are. Okay. There we go. Made it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move some stuff around. So I'm going to dump essentially everything into our cargo container. Everything essentially pulled, which is good. Let's go ahead and get that stone cleared out of the way. And I said we'd stop, but I'm going to put stuff into production that we need. So we need 346 steel plate, which we probably have. Do so now we just need to more. 46 canvas. I know we don't have that, so let's build it. Make it. Really build canvas. Is it under? There it is. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 46 of those. 177 girder. Pretty sure we don't have any girder pre-made. I've got a couple. So let's just make like 200 of those. The reason I didn't make a bunch of extra canvases, I don't really use them for anything. Making magnesium powder, 48 oxygen bottles, 18 explosives. Okay. Cool. 1, 2, 4, 8, 5, those. I think explosives take 1 powder, if I can remember that. What? Oh, there they are. Oh, they don't take 1 whole. Okay. So if you have 18 of those, 10. 8. Okay. So that should essentially be everything into production. So we don't have to worry about that. We'll just have to go grab some iron ore by hand. And then everything will get loaded into our ship here, and we'll take it over and do it next time. This battery's finally dead. So all this.
Inventory
See,
full.
I already lied. I said, well, we're going to clear our inventory, and then we're going to finish up. And then I'm over here like, well, there's one thing we can do. It won't hurt to just put this up. While we're here, we can do this other thing. Like, we really should do our nitrogen bottle there so we don't forget. And I don't need 2 pistols. Okay. Gonna save the game. I'll do the stuff. So if I don't, there we go. If I don't transition, I will sit here and keep playing for another 3 hours, which is probably not wrong, but probably should take a break. 3.5 hours. It's probably enough. I'm sure everyone's tired of hearing my voice too. But I appreciate everybody who came in. Yeah, I enjoyed talking with everybody, and hope at least had a little bit of good time. Yeah, I hopefully play some more of this. Hopefully people can come back in, and we'll be looking forward to it. Yep. It was fun. I had fun too. So thank you. All right, we'll talk to everybody the next time. Later.